Okay. This is an interview with Farron P. Benjamin and his wife Dorothy in the New York State Military Museum, Saratoga Springs, New York. It is the 15th of October, 2003, approximately 1 p.m. The interviewer is Michael Russert. Could you give me your full name, date of birth, and place of birth, please?
My full name is Farron P. Benjamin. You want my address?
No, where you were born and when you were born.
I was born in home
Burlington Flats.
in Burlington Flats, New York, and
December.
Year. And when were you born? Year and month and
1920.
okay.
December 26,
Okay.
1920.
Whoa. Christmas, almost a Christmas
Yes.
baby.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your educational background prior to entering service?
It was just through schools, high school and all that.
Okay. Do you remember where you were and what you remember about your reaction to the bomb dropping or the attack on Pearl Harbor?
Well, where I was at was I was to her place.
It was a Sunday.
I was
we were out
courting her.
looking for a Christmas
We
tree.
were looking at a Christmas tree, and we got the news that had happened.
Did you hear it on the radio or
The
did
radio.
someone tell you?
Yeah.
What was your reaction to that?
Well, it was. I knew that was going to be war, and that probably I would be drafted into it. I mean, there was not much doubt in my mind.
Now, did you were you drafted or did you enlist?
Drafted.
When were you drafted?
March 23rd, 1943.
Yeah.
Okay. How old were you when you went into the service?
22.
22, okay.
Yep.
Where was your induction center?
Camp Upton.
We went to Cooperstown first.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but I went down
Then
to Cooper. I was inducted down to Camp Upton down in Long Island. Yeah.
Okay, and where did you go for your basic training?
Miami Beach, Florida.
Okay, was this the first time you were really away from home?
Oh, I've been away from home some, but not a lot. I mean, it was quite an experience after being around. And we was just married, and
Well, when were you married?
June 25th, 1942.
Oh, okay, so newlyweds then.
Yes.
yep. So it was. I was a little homesick.
Now, did you both write to one another quite a bit?
Wrote every day.
Every day.
Did you ever keep your letters? Or?
I have some of them, not
Okay.
all of them.
All right. Now, what did you do while he was gone? Where did you live?
I lived at our home in East Springfield at the time, New York, and I worked some at Beechnut. They were doing our work for the Navy at that time until he was moved up to Virginia. And then I went to Virginia to stay with him as long as I could.
Okay. Now, what kind of training did you have in Florida?
Just basic, the most basic training that was.
Just drilling and so
drilling
on?
and like that. Yeah.
Okay, where did you go? Did you get any other specialized training?
Got some more training in Camp Lee, Virginia,
Okay.
and I trained there for about 3 months, I guess. It was a little more rigorous training because we went out on bivouacs and did a lot more strenuous training.
Now, were you enlisted into the Army or the Air Corps?
I was in the Air Corps.
Okay. What other specific training did you get to be in aviation?
Well, nothing there, but I went on to Salt Lake City Air Base, and I was there a couple of days. Then they moved me to Camp Kearns, Utah, which is just north of the city of Salt Lake. And there we got some training, and we was there about 6 months at Camp Kearns. Then I was moved to Wendover Field, and there I was put in the atomic bomb group. And then we had.
Now, did you know that this was the group that was training to use the atomic bomb, or did you?
We had no idea. It was all secret.
It was the biggest secret our
And,
country ever done.
It was. We did all we knew after a while it was that we had a large bomb and that was all. You know, nothing else.
Now, what kind of, what was your assignment?
I was assigned just for materials, handling bombs and stuff like that, loading bombs and planes and all that stuff.
Now, did you always work with B-29s or?
Yeah, with all B-29s. Yeah.
There were 24s there when he first came into
Yeah,
Windover.
but I wasn't on that.
No, but then
B-29s.
20,
Now, you went to Virginia with him.
I went to
And
Virginia.
then what happened after he left
He
Virginia?
left and I went back home.
Mhm.
And then after he was in Salt Lake a while, he got a furlough and came home. And I went back with him and we lived in Salt Lake.
And then did you go to?
Well, then I came home again.
Oh, okay.
And then he was moved to Wendover while I was in Salt Lake, and I came home. And then he finally got another furlough and came home.
And they said I could bring my wife and
So
live
I
off
went
base,
back
so.
with him until he was shipped over, and I was there when the troop train went out.
Okay. Now, how did B-29s load the bombs? How did you
Well,
load them?
We had to dig a pit to put the plane over to load it on. And we had to change some of the Bombay stuff because they were big. Yep.
What kind of changes did you make to the bomb bay?
Well, I don't remember. I think we made the doors bigger, and also the lift come down and brought it up. It was bigger.
Now, were all the changes made just for the atomic bomb?
Yep.
So you knew that the bomb was larger than normal
Right.
then?
But we still didn't know it was an atomic bomb.
You just knew it was a larger than normal?
Larger than normal bomb.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, did you know the crew of the Enola Gay?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
We all knew him.
Did you work almost specifically on that plane or on others also?
Well, the group had 5 or 6 planes. I think it was 6 planes. And I worked on all of them. But the 2 that took the atomic bomb was Enola Gay and the Great Artiste, I think it was.
Now, do you know how those planes were named at all?
Well, Colonel Tibbetts'
Mother.
name was named after his mother. That was his mother's name, Enola Gay. The others, they just named them what they wanted to, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us any stories about you working with them, that crew, or at all?
Not so much. I didn't. Well, after we was in there, I know we loaded them, and Colonel Tibbetts was around there all the time. I knew him real well, and the night that he took off, I
This
was
is
up
off
there.
the island. They're
Yeah.
on the island. When they,
Well, why don't you, some stories about when you were still in the United States. Do you have any?
Not too much there, no, because everything was secret, and none of the enlisted men. Only ones that knew, I think, was Colonel Tibbetts and the big officers, a couple, 3 of the big
Okay.
officers. That's the only thing they knew.
All right. How did you get out to the Pacific?
I went by boat. And,
And the planes themselves flew out?
flew,
and-
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Did you go, was the whole crew, maintenance crew and so on, did they all go by boat together?
Yeah. The MP
What-
squadrons and
What was your unit?
1027th Material Squadron.
Okay, did you go in a convoy or a single ship?
Single ship.
Where was your destination?
We sailed out of
Seattle,
Seattle, Washington, and we went to Hawaii.
laid over there.
We was there for a few days because we was waiting for him to Tinian for him to take Tinian, so it'd be safe for us to go in there. And then we went on to the Marshall Islands and stayed there a couple of days, and then from there on to Tinian, and it was clear, so we got in there.
Okay, how many, so all the planes from the squadron were there,
Yeah,
arrived there?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you were going to relate some stories then about while you were out on the isle, out in Tinian. What kind of places did you live in on Tinian?
Well, when we first got there, it was tents, of course.
Mhm.
And we stayed there in tents till, after a while they got some barracks built so we could stay in them. And
Who arrived first? All of you that were on the ship or the planes?
We was first, then the planes come in a couple of days afterwards.
So the airfield was constructed for the B-29s?
Yeah, well,
The
the airfield was big.
Mhm.
In fact, the whole island was airfield.
Mhm.
They had, I don't know how many, 100 airplanes on that island.
But it was a small island.
It was
Yes.
a small island,
Yeah,
but
very much,
in
yeah.
fact, you'll see the pictures of it. It's,
But the
it was-
Marines cleared the island
That's the
first.
Marine, yeah, the Marines cleared them first.
Mhm.
But
They were
that whole island was built up with runways when we got there. They had runways. And I forgot how many planes was there. I mean, when they took off on raids, you'd hear airplanes start in the middle of the afternoon and it would go till midnight before they got all off.
Mhm.
And then you'd hear them come back. Of course, the planes took runs with the other planes that was there to get used to going the distance that they were supposed to go. So they went on a lot of bombing missions with the regular bombs first. And they come back and reload.
Now, how did you load the regular bombs into a B-29?
Just like you would any of them, they come in
Well-
and yeah.
Loaded about the same?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was your job then, was the...
Most of the
do
time,
loading?
yeah.
Okay. Do you remember the day that the Enola Gay took off? Can you tell us about that day?
Yep. I was there in the morning when he took off.
Were you with the crew that loaded it?
Right, we was there, yep.
Could you...
And we watched Colonel Tibbetts wave goodbye out of the thing.
How long did it take to load the bomb into...
Not an awful long. After we had them all fixed, they had to put them over the pit and get them loaded, but it didn't take over a long time.
Is that when you realized it was something...
Yeah, then we
Unusual.
realized something big, but we still didn't know the atomic bomb. Because I know after Tibbetts got back that day, or the next day there, he said that it was when he took off, he didn't know for sure whether he was going to make it or not. It was, and I'm glad he did, because if he hadn't made it, we'd have been blown up too. But it was had to be. I guess it was a lot heavier than what the
They
other bombs
practiced
were.
with?
Yeah. And on when he was gone, he was radioed back that he wanted the whole outfit at Headquarters Squadron. So they took us all to Headquarters Squadron. And when we got over there, they had all the hot dogs and hamburgers and beer and soft drink that you could drink.
But that night you was on alert.
Yeah, we
They
was
were
on alert.
For-
That was the
they-
second time.
Oh,
Second
that was second.
thing, yeah. And we had all that stuff to eat and drink, which we hadn't used to. And Tibbetts got up and gave a speech and said, we saw a city and then we didn't. In other words, he blowed it up. And he was Distinguished Flying Cross was put onto him. Then 2 nights later, they took the second bomb. That first one, the Japs just said that all there was just a small plane that dropped a small bottle of bombs that didn't do any damage. Well, when the second plane went, then they radioed back. Well, first they radioed back to us on the island. We was all issued carbines and everything, because the Japs had started for Tinian. They never made it, because that second one blew up another city, and then they wanted to surrender.
What are your feelings about the dropping the bombs?
I think it was a great thing.
Why?
Great thing. It saved millions, thousands of lives. Because if they'd had to gone in there fighting like they had, they'd have killed mess up. Both sides would have been a lot of lives off. This way it ended it in a hurry.
That's what Tibbetts said to one of
Yeah.
our conventions. A lady got up and asked that question. He said, it saved many lives, and he said there wouldn't have been a Hiroshima if there hadn't been a Pearl Harbor. And I thought that was an excellent answer that he gave her.
Now, where were you when you heard about the
I was
atomic
home
bombs?
with my parents, and when I heard over the radio Colonel Tibbets, I said to my mother, that's Farron's outfit, because I knew that was his colonel, and that's how I recognized it.
You had no idea what he was doing?
No, they were
no.
signs in Wendover, that's big signs that said, what you see here, what you hear here, what you see here, leave here.
When you leave here,
And-
let it stay here.
We didn't know, no. And there, 2/3 of men, I don't think, even knew.
No, we didn't.
It was a big secret. They were a complete unit that by themselves. I mean, a separate.
We could go anywhere and set up and do it without anybody else to assist us.
How many were in the unit?
1800.
There was, yeah,
I think
there
the
was.
book.
It tells in the book there, but I can't remember.
I think
you
it's
know,
1800.
there was quite a crew of us that had. I mean, it's everything all in one unit. You could do anything.
Okay. How well did you know Colonel Tibbets?
Well enough so personally we could speak to him. You know,
He's
What
a
kind
very,
of person was he, or is he?
very
he was
outspoken.
very outspoken guy.
Very much.
They asked him how it was kept so secret, and one of the
You better not say what he said.
he says it was secret because there wasn't any goddamn politicians in it.
He
That's
was
just what he
very
said.
outspoken. He said that to one
And
of
he
my-
was that way. He was that way.
What did the men think of him?
Oh, they liked him. He was good. Everybody liked him.
And he made the remark at one of the reunions, they never lost a plane or they never lost a man in
No.
the whole business.
No.
After the dropping of the bombs, what happened to your unit?
We was put on alert to head home. They wanted to get us right back to the States just as quick as to get us there. They wanted to reorganize, and so we was brought right back. It didn't go over too good to the guys that'd been there for 6 to 8 months or 2 years, but they took us right back.
When were you discharged?
Discharged and
November 45.
things I got tells on it.
We got all the dates and those things that were
Yeah.
left in the car.
Do you remember where you were in your reaction when you heard about the death of President Roosevelt?
Yeah, I was on board ship when Roosevelt died, and everybody felt bad about it. Yep.
Did you ever get to see any USO shows at all while you were
Oh, yeah.
in service?
Yeah, I got a few. Yeah.
Who were some of the celebrities, if you saw them?
Bob Hope.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Obviously, you've attended reunions, which
Yes.
is one of the questions I
Yep.
usually ask. How long have you been returning and attending these?
Well, we went. Let's see.
Went to Ohio,
Ohio. We reunited in Ohio. One in Washington D.C.
and one in
One in
Wendover.
Wendover Field. And
This year was
Louisiana.
Louisiana, but we
No, it
didn't,
was New Orleans, Louisiana, but which was just now,
just over now. It was the night.
I didn't go because it got where, well, our men was getting fewer and fewer, and this outfit is still going. It's 509s, it's still going, and it's where young blood come in, and they're bringing in all the younger ones, and they're separate.
They're separate from
they're
the old
separate
ones.
from the old ones
Uh-huh.
right now. So,
They
and
They
it cost
voted
us.
that one year too,
Yeah.
that would be separate.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I know when we went to Wendover that year, we flew to Salt Lake City and we stayed overnight there. And then they bused us from there to Wendover Field, which is 125 miles from Salt Lake. Before we got into Salt Lake, into Wendover, the buses all stopped, and I figured, well, what they'd stopping for. And I looked out, there was 5 or 6 fire engines, and 6 or 8 police escorts, cars, and they was front and back of us. And when we pulled into Wendover Field,
They escorted.
they escorts all their sirens was blowing, every siren was blowing when we come in. People thought, I guess, I don't know what they thought, but it was,
But Wendover was nothing. We lived in shacks. That's all was
Yeah.
there.
of course,
They was-
Wendover now is a city
Mhm.
on one
On the
part.
Nevada side.
On the Utah side, it's still, our old shack is still there.
Really?
We
When
saw
it was
it.
out there, that we lived in.
But everybody was in the same boat and everybody helped everybody.
Was there a strong bond between the unit, the men in the unit, do you think?
I think it was, yeah. Yep.
Did you, after you left the service, did you ever use the GI Bill?
No,
How about the 5220 Club?
no.
Never did that either,
No.
huh? Okay, did
No.
you join any veterans organizations?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the Legion,
Are you active with the Legion?
yeah.
Okay. How do you think your time in the service changed or affected your life, or your lives?
I think it affected both of our lives. Where we traveled, it made us, we was always on the road. By coming back and going into service, I think it made us,
We love to go yet.
and we still, it made a difference in our lives because
And
we
you
just
grew up.
traveled a lot.
We grew up fast.
Yeah, we did, and she was out there with me, and when they come out of service, next thing you know, we was heading for Salt Lake, or for Tucson, Arizona, and we bought a place in Tucson and sold it after a while.
We
And,
went there winners.
yeah, and it made a difference in our lives because none of the others, my brothers or any of them, was like that. It just made a difference.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. Don't rewind it because...
Is it high enough?
Yeah, I think so. I think you can see it.
See, when he came out of service, they ordered these books. And then when he got home, it came through. And we didn't realize the value until we went to Washington.
Oh.
We took the book to have people, is that Ronald?
Yes,
Mhm.
that's
All
okay.
right.
To have the book, different ones autograph it.
Mhm.
And they told us at the time how much it was worth.
Oh.
Because there were only so many printed.
Mhm. Now, have you had Colonel Tibbetts and some of the crew members sign it?
Not this one, no.
Oh,
No, I
We
wish
just
I
took
had
it
it.
once and we didn't.
I just took it once and they told me
What
it
do you
worked.
want?
But this is Colonel Tibbetts there,
mhm.
and now he's 88 years old, so
Is
he's a little difference there
It
now.
wasn't to the last
Yeah.
reunion because he couldn't hear well.
And this is the squadron commanders. Now my commander here was this guy here, and he was head of the 1027th
Mhm.
Material Squadron.
Now, what was he like as a commander?
Very good, just like one of us.
Here's what we got when he got
Yeah,
to
that's one of
Washington.
mine.
They were just issued that.
That was was just issued to me.
When they had it.
I'd like to copy this.
Yeah,
I thought
okay.
maybe you would.
Yeah,
These are all when he was put in service.
yeah, those are my discharge papers and
And this, he was interviewed at our local paper one year, and that was the write-up that they took.
yeah.
Whoops. Is that okay?
Yes. Yes, I can get it pretty well, yes.
Okay.
What else did I have here? Anything else?
And this is Wendover Field. And there's your sign that was in there. See it?
Oh, yes. Yes.
And of course, there's everything here, the people, when you got ready to,
There's
your
a
beer
poem-
party and all that stuff.
There's a poem there that was,
They are, the
That-
poems,
that was
They're
written
pretty
in
good,
that
too.
book, the man that interviewed him copied that.
Did you, do you have are there any photographs in the back of the Enola Gay at all, or?
I don't think so.
We have some at home.
I got one.
I mean, that I had, that he,
Pause a second.
Let me look and
just
see.
wanna
I don't know.
reset
They
the
may,
camera.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's one here.
there's another picture.
Okay.
This
That was
is a
those are displays that were one of the
1027th Material Squadron that I was in, and our pictures are all here.
Oh,
And
okay.
then it shows, I think in the back here, it shows the Enola Gay. I saw it just the other day, going through this.
I have some snapshots that he had taken. I have his uniforms and everything.
Oh, really?
That's funny, I've got a picture of him taking off in the Enola Gay. It's in here somewhere.
Now, what kind of work clothes did you wear when you were out loading the bombs and so
Just
on?
your fatigues,
Just,
yeah. Overseas there, we just wore shorts and a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Hot so hot in there.
Now, the flight crews, what did they wear?
They wear coveralls.
coveralls. They didn't wear the insulated suits or anything, did they?
No, just plain coveralls.
Mhm.
Yep, yep. And of course, they had things for air and all that stuff in the plane there. Keep
Yeah.
There were some civilians on this island in Tinian, too.
Well, they was, yeah, but they
They were penned in a,
we called them gooks. No,
that's the 63rd Air Engineer.
no, it's, you got a picture of his, as he took off that morning. As he took off.
What's this?
No. It's quite a big sized picture.
Well, that's okay if you don't find it.
There's a picture in there from that.
Yeah.
It's quite a good sized picture now. Maybe that's
There it
one.
shows the,
Bombs there.
oh, wait a minute, I'm going by, there's
Enola
the
Gay.
picture.
That's when he come back. He got a picture of him coming back. His plane is next over, I think. That shows pictures after the bomb was dropped on
There's a
92nd.
little one.
There it is right there. No, that is one right there.
That little one?
That one right there is just Enola Gay. That's his wave goodbye that morning as he left to go on his trip.
Okay.
See, that shows after the bomb was dropped, the whole city was.
And this is one of him coming back, you said?
That
This
one
is-
there is no, I think that's one of the other planes. I think that's the other one plane that came back.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you should really take care of that book. Thank you for your interview. I'm glad you could come in.
Yep. Did you want to see the bomb? We got pictures of the bomb in there too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, that other book.
Oh, this,
That one down there.
oh, here it is.
Mhm.
This was one of the reunions.
That was to the Wendover reunion, I think, yeah.
You can,
There
there
it
they
is.
Yeah,
are.
there it is, yeah.
That,
There's the bombs.
little boy and big boy.
Look at that man.
Fat man.
I remember West Point used to have one of them on display
Yeah,
in
yeah.
their museum.
Enola Gay's on display now down in Smithsonian.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've seen it,
Yeah.
yes.
We were down there,
went in Washington when we were there. They were restoring it, and we were allowed, the group
Oh,
were allowed
really?
to go and see
we went
it,
down
Wow,
to
that's
see it.
so we could see it.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to take these upstairs. I want to copy
Okay,
your section from this and these two
Okay.
things, and I'll be right back down.
okay, yep, yep.